So tonight we're really excited for you to hear 6 storytellers, and even though all of their styles and their personalities and the stories themselves differ wildly in some cases, our purpose is the same. And we think that storytelling is a really beautiful way to unite a community. And even when we have differences, that we can find elements of humanity and points of connection and emotion that we can relate to in everyone's story. So we're hoping that we are contributing to the thriving community, not just the creative one, but the community in general that we love here in Gainesville. So that's what you'll be hearing. And to get you started, we have Gail Johnson. Some of you may have heard about Gail. She is running for Gainesville City Commission, at large, seat 1. That's an important detail. She was raised in Gainesville and graduated from Eastside and UF, and one of Gail's passions is the local food movement here in Gainesville that she believes brings together economic growth and community health for a more sustainable Gainesville. So we're excited for you to start your experience with Gail, and please enjoy her. Thanks for being here.
This is amazing. Thank you all for being here, friends, new friends. So I'm going to tell you a little story. It was November 4th, 2004, and we had just collectively elected the first Black president of the United States of America. Right? Big. I decided to take my grandmother. And at the time, my grandmother was 85 years old. She's still alive and really happy about that. She's 95 right now. And she doesn't fly, still doesn't fly, so we decided to put her on an Amtrak. Put her on an Amtrak to DC. At the time, I was living in New York, and she was here in Gainesville. So put her on an Amtrak to DC, and I was like, how is my grandmother going to kind of navigate this? She's 85 years old. Well, it turns out that a friend of hers was also on the train with her, and she was able to take care of her. And I decided that I was going to take the Chinatown bus. So how many of you all are familiar with like the Chinatown buses? Yes, and so in any major metropolitan city, there are Chinatown buses, which means that if you're kind of willing to not go to the bathroom for a while and deal with like 90 mile an hour, speeds, and possibly have, live chickens as your, fellow passengers, then, you too can get a round trip ticket for $25, which is what I did, right? So on my way to Chinatown, at the bus, and I got the last ticket to get on that bus to meet my grandmother. Like, everybody was going to DC at that point. Got the last ticket. We met at Union Station, and my friend was going to give us his apartment. But I thought it was going to be this kind of thing where we just kind of all bunked up together, right? Well, I got there, and he left the entire apartment for us. Not only did he leave the entire apartment for us, but he also left a wheelchair for us, right? So we had this wonderful experience, this wonderful place, and it was 45 minutes away, which is relatively close, like if you know DC, like walking distance to be able to get to the National Mall, right? So we were able to have this apartment 45 minutes away, and there was just this incredible energy in the air, We were all so excited, but I also didn't really plan. I knew that I wanted to go to the inauguration. I didn't really know how I was going to get tickets, how I was going to get there. I just knew we were going to be in DC, and somehow we were just going to enjoy this amazing experience. If we could watch it on the TV, then great. Well, my friend, she calls me at 1 o'clock in the morning. At this point, like, we're just kind of up watching the TV and the news coverage, and I don't know if you were in DC at that time, but there are lots of sirens around. And she calls me at 1 o'clock in the morning, and my friend is, she's kind of like a little hot shot, in some DC circles. So she knew Barack, and she also helped to raise money for his first 2 Senate runs, and she was at this super fancy party. She calls me, and she's like, Gail, are you in DC? I'm like, yeah, I'm in DC. You in DC? She's like, yeah. You want tickets for the inauguration? Yeah, I want tickets for the inauguration. She's like, meet me at this hotel. The hotel was 5 blocks away from where I was staying. Right? So I put on my jacket, I bundle up, and I walk over, and I meet her in the lobby. Like I said, she's at this like super fancy party, and she comes like, kind of like floating over. She's all beautiful and fresh. I'm cold and shivering. And she gives me these tickets. I was like, you have no idea what this means. I start like this ugly cry. Oh my God, my grandma and me, like, oh, we're just so happy. I have no idea. She's like, Gail, just calm down. So I open it and I look at the tickets, and they're in the blue section. So I don't know if you know what the blue section means, but the blue section means that you're in this area where you can actually see Barack. Like, there are no football fields of people between you and Barack. Like, you don't have to look at him on this screen. He is there, like sight distance. We got these tickets. So I go back, get a little bit of sleep, wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning thinking that, okay, we kind of have enough time to make our way over there. Okay, get my grandmother in the wheelchair and wheel her down, and we, wheel. At this point, it felt like it probably was about a couple hours, like just between everything that we had everything that was going on. So there are these underpasses where you have to go to get to the other side to get to National Mall. So the first one totally and completely shut down, closed, like they're not letting any more people through. Like, if you can imagine just throngs and throngs of people, just like kind of chaos, right? We go to the second one. The second one was closed. I'm like, oh my God, we had these tickets, like we're totally not gonna see him. We go to the third one, and the third one was finally open, and we were able to get through, and we get to the other side. Okay, so now we're on the other side. And the line to actually get in was insane. It was like a football field, just like this. I'm like, oh my God, we're not gonna get in. They'd stopped letting people in. We weren't gonna get in. But then this police officer, he saw my grandmother and I, and he said, come here. Go in this way. And I looked back at the line, and I looked back at him, I looked back at the line, and the people in the line, they were like, it's okay. They were smiling, they were happy, so we got through because of this police officer. But then there were still like groups of people to get through, and I was wheeling my grandmother, so it's like sardine packed, right? Wheeling my grandmother through, but it's like the crowds parted to let us through. I'm not even kidding. Like, we're walking, and the crowds are just parting, and we get to the handicap section. Guess how many seats there were left in the handicap section? Exactly. We got the last 2 seats. So we heard him speak. It was incredible. I mean, there are really no words to describe the feeling. And it was really important because the last time that my grandmother had been at the National Mall was for the March on Washington with my grandfather. And my grandfather was an activist in Gainesville. He was the president of the NAACP for a while. And he died a year earlier. And I remember my grandmother saying to me before we left, she took out his picture, and she said, Gail, he's with us on this trip, right? So we wave goodbye to George Bush. Everybody's like clapping, yeah, he's gone. Thank God. At this point, like, I'm so tired. It felt like it probably was 20 degrees below zero. Like, I've been wheeling my grandmother around all day. I'm really tired. I didn't feel like I could take one more step. So, we're going back to the tunnel, and I could not walk anymore, and I just stopped. And it's like, I just said a little prayer. I was like, I need help. And before I could even get those words out of my mouth, this guy, it's like he appeared out of nowhere and he said, "Do you need help?" I was like, yeah, I need help. So he takes my grandmother, and he just happens to live right around the corner from where we were staying at the apartment, and he wheels my grandmother back the entire way, right? So while we were, I'm talking to this guy, and he was a professor at this like small liberal arts college in Pennsylvania, and we chatted because I was an English major, so we got along really well, had a really great conversation. I made sure to get his name, made sure to remember the college where he taught. So we get back to the apartment, and I send my grandmother back to Gainesville, and I get back to New York, and it's 10 years ago, so smartphones and Google, like, not the best. So I went home, went on my computer, because I wanted to write him a thank you note, right? Like, we had an amazing time. It felt like he saved me. Like, I couldn't walk one more step, and he came at exactly the right time. Google, 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 the college. Nothing came up. Okay, Google, 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 like other liberal arts colleges that might sound like this. Didn't come up. Google, Google, Google. The professor's name. Nothing came up. Google again, and nothing came up. So I believe in angels. Do you?